great. We missed him dearly, and we'll never be the same until he's in the lineup. But we are eager for his return on the court, and he is obviously the backbone of this team and the heart and soul. So I'm looking forward to just playing, be out there with Draymond again, and he'll be a difference maker.
Now, back to Willard and Dibs on 95.7 The Game.
Sound like somebody who's about to be traded to you? Backbone of this team, difference maker. Can't wait till he gets back out there. We're going to be a different team when he's back with us.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so far you've been the same team with him as you've been without him. So I'd like to see.
I sort of half reject that notion.
Well, I'm just looking at the record.
I know.
So you can reject it all you want, but they
too small of a sample. They played different teams. They were on the road heavy.
It's a big enough sample for me. It's the whole season. We're halfway through the year now.
Yeah, he hasn't played in very much of it.
They've been mediocre with, and they've been mediocre without. 7-8 with, and 10-11 without.
I understand.
I mean, that's, to me, they have not been. It's not like they were 10-3 with him and then they hit the skids without him.
No, it's
They've
like I
been
said.
bad either way.
We all know their schedule was hard to start the year versus where it was since. And when Draymond was playing, that was largely the harder portion of the schedule. Lots going on at the beginning of the year in terms of the way certain players were playing. You think back to the way Clay was playing at the beginning of the year versus the way he is now. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that I don't fully buy it yet. I think that they're going to be a better team when he comes back.
Well, they should be better.
Particularly with GP2 out, even if it's just on the defensive end. But I think we've also got plenty of data through the years that Steph Curry's a better offensive player when Draymond's on the floor.
Right. CP3 also out. So, you're dealing with a team that's not going to have two of your veteran pieces for a long time. Hopefully GP2 can come back in a month and CP3 out for probably a month, if not more, if he ever plays as a Warrior again.
Yeah, he might not. He might not. And I guarantee, for the Warriors, particularly with this injury, I got to think that they get on the phone and use CP3's contract as a money matcher in any way, shape, or form that they can. The guy's out. He's expiring. It's $30 million. It makes all the sense in the world to include Chris Paul in a deal along with young assets if you're looking to make a deal. That's the deal. That's the deal you want to make.
Well, you got to make some deal, in my opinion. If not, then you're resigning yourself to this kind of a year. So you make a deal, and if you don't believe in Kuminga, then he's a part of it. If you believe in Kuminga, and it feels like it's a bit of a split organizationally as far as how they feel about Kuminga. And then Moses Moody's another one where you don't really know how the coaching staff and the front office feels about him based on just how he is utilized.
Yeah. I mean, the deal that if I'm the Warriors, that's a steal, and I don't know who else the Raptors would be willing to give up because this would knock the money too high in the Warriors' direction. But if Pascal Siakam is someone you want, boy, in a heartbeat, if I'm the Warriors, I do Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins, and Moses Moody for Siakam and another player to make the money match. To me, that's the grade A deal that you can make. I don't know if Toronto's interested in that.
Yeah.
I don't know if Toronto, and that's the issue. The Warriors, I'm sure, would love to trade Andrew Wiggins. The league would love them to trade Jonathan Kuminga.
Right. So you get Wiggins back to Canada, and you get Moses Moody as a throw-in. If you're Toronto, you want Kuminga. I don't know if there's any deal that the Warriors offer that doesn't have Kuminga. It's probably a no for me if I'm Toronto, because
probably
Moses Moody's a good player. I don't think Moses Moody will ever be a star in this league. And if he is a starter, you're probably not a championship team. You might be a playoff team. Moses Moody feels to me like he is, if he's your seventh or eighth man, then you're a good team. If he is a starter on your team, then you're not a very good team.
Well, I don't know.
Kuminga's a different story.
Yeah, I don't know what Moses would do with 25 minutes a night. I bet he could put up numbers. This is somebody who could average double digits in the NBA. I have no issue with that. Sure,
he's a good player.
Put it this way. Here's one thing I'm saying. We've been hearing Pascal Siakam rumors, it feels like, since I came to 95.7 The Game.
Right.
Good God. It's
a couple of years.
2.5 years.
Has it been that
Pascal's going to be traded any minute now. Well, Toronto has waited until his value is at its lowest. Not because he's not playing well. He's playing just fine. But whoever gets Pascal Siakam now gets him for 2 months. 2 months. And then he can leave.
Right.
And when you watch this in baseball now, and every year it floors people when guys are free agents and expiring deals, how cheap it is to get them. People do not want to give up massive assets for 2 months of a player. So if the Kings have already backed out, which is reported, and Toronto is hell-bent on getting rid of Siakam, okay, well, you're going to get 2 months of him. The guy makes almost $40 million, so you got to give up a lot in order to get him. But what can Toronto really demand at this point? So that's nice that you want Kuminga, but the Warriors are going to be like, for 2 months? For 2 months of Siakam, you want Kuminga and Moody? I don't know.
You probably want Kuminga. You don't want Moody. I mean, Moody.
I'm sure they would love Moody. Why not? He's a good, solid player, making
he's
nothing.
Fine. I mean, Moody's fine. If you're a team looking to acquire something from the Warriors, and you're going to take on Chris Paul's contract, fine, it makes it work. You're looking for Jonathan Kuminga. And if Kuminga's not in the deal, then you're probably less interested in doing the deal. You're not doing it for Paul, Moody, and a pick.
But who's offering you anything for 2 months of
early.
Siakam?
We'll see.
It's
we got a
not that
long.
early.
It's super early.
And they already pulled the trigger on Anunoby.
We've got 31 days till the deadline, so 4.5 weeks. That's a lot of time.
Not when you've been shopping him for 2.5 years. It's
deadline spur deals.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just, again, now you've waited until the acquiring team is not going to get a whole lot out of Siakam. If you had done it 12 months ago, you're going to get a bigger package.
Right, but if you're a team that's looking to jumpstart your hopes and take the Warriors out of it for a moment, but if you're a team that maybe is one player away from a championship, you'd be willing to part with more than, the Warriors right now, if they were to make that trade, whether it's Moody, Kuminga, Paul, Wiggins, whatever assets go out, it's probably because you're hoping for the next 2 months that he can do something for this team this year. You're not thinking about re-signing him for next year.
Let's go to Jonathan in Arizona. Hey, Jonathan, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing? First-time caller in.
Oh, thanks.
As a recent listener on YouTube and everything, I think if we're going to trade anybody, I would say my target would be, and I don't know how realistic it would be, but instead of thinking about Toronto, what about Mikal Bridges out there on the Nets? Two-way player, could fit right within the system, cerebral player, has a nice three-point shot. Defense would be able to help out Draymond, because I think one of the biggest things, and yes, it would consist of trading Kuminga and Wiggins. It's not that I don't have faith in Wiggins or faith in Kuminga. It's just the fact that that's our best asset to trade. And that's just the reality of it. If Kerr's not going to play him, and he's going to be inconsistent because he doesn't know what to do. Well, I mean, why not look at, Mikal Bridges? Mikal Bridges is also potentially a Klay Thompson replacement. I love Klay. I love everybody. I love what they brought to the Dubs. But, you got guys out there who can play within that Steve Kerr system.
Yeah, so again, for me, Jonathan, the flaw in the logic is, once again, when you say he could be a Klay Thompson replacement. I don't think the Warriors are trying to replace Klay Thompson. I think the Warriors are more where I am. And to a degree, I'm following their lead. I don't think they have any interest in any of the big three playing anywhere else anytime soon. Bridges is a nice player. Not playing real well this year.
Averaging 21 a game.
I do love, I do love the idea of more defense. I do love the idea of more defense. The Warriors obviously need that. And with Draymond unavailable and GP2 hurt, you can see it. 133 points for Toronto is absurd.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
And it would give you the sort of wing athleticism that you're looking for. And, the caller mentioning Steve Kerr unwilling to play Jonathan Kuminga, and that's an interesting part of it. So it's been inconsistent minutes for Jonathan Kuminga for whatever reason. He's been in, he's been out, he's been in crunch time, he hasn't been. Wiggins has been mostly bad this year, so you got to do something at the wing if you really want to maximize the Steph Curry window this year.